No plan. I was just drifting, through the motions, through the chatter, through this illusion of a perfect life that had cracked at the foundation. I needed facts. Cold, hard evidence. But every move I made felt like it was just spinning my wheels. I was an auditor, a forensic accountant, trained to detect lies buried in spreadsheets and transactions. But I'd missed the ones buried in my own home. As I sat in that swing chair, swaying slightly, hidden in the shadows, the low thrum of the party buzzed behind me. Laughter, glasses clinking, campaign promises, the soundtrack of political ambition and personal betrayal. I closed my eyes. Tried to breathe. Then I heard footsteps. They weren't rushed, but they weren't casual either. Heels. Sharp, measured. Coming from the back path near the barn. I opened my eyes just in time to see Barbara Evans rounding the hedge line, heading toward the guest house. She didn't see me in the shadows. Or if she did, she gave no sign. A few seconds later, Rhoda followed. I froze. They were talking in low voices. I couldn't hear much, just snippets. But I caught one word clearly. Tonight. They both laughed, and Barbara handed Rhoda something. A key? A card? Then they hugged, and Rhoda made her way back toward the main house. Barbara disappeared into the guest house. I stared at the empty pathway for a long time. Something wasn't adding up. I left the party alone. Told Rhoda I had a headache, that I'd take the train home and let her catch a ride with Sandra after the staff meeting. She didn't argue. Maybe she was distracted. Maybe she was relieved. When I got home, I didn't sleep. I spent the next day planning. Strategizing. Not just about what to do, but how to prove it. Because here's the thing most people don't understand about cheating, it's not the sex that destroys you. It's the disrespect. The lies. The rewriting of your life without your consent. I couldn't change what Rhoda had done. But I could make damn sure that I would decide what happened next. And that's where this story turns. Because the guest house? It had security cameras. So did the barn. The entire property did, thanks to a break-in years ago. Evans bragged about it during his first DA campaign, how he protected his daughter and his legacy. Now, he had no idea that protection might become his downfall. Because I made a decision. And I wasn't just going to watch anymore. I was going to investigate. Document. Analyze. And eventually, expose. You look like a man carrying the weight of the world, she observed in that low, easy tone. I barely wanted to reveal anything to the daughter of my wife's lover, even one as captivating as Barbara. Just been slammed at the office, endless audits, I deflected, hoping to steer the conversation elsewhere. Is that so? She leaned in, curiosity shining in her eyes. I just finished my forensic accounting course. We covered a ton of audit techniques, they even touched on forensic work with law enforcement. It was fascinating. Shock registered in me for only a heartbeat. Really? She nodded, warming to the topic. It's detective work more than number crunching, you sift through reams of data, looking for hidden discrepancies. And if someone's trying to cover it up, she trailed off with a knowing look. Most people don't see it that way, I admitted. That sparked a shift in our interaction. Her violet intelligence shone through her pin-up facade, and for a moment, I slipped into mentor mode, helped me push back the boiling anger inside. You really love the class, I told her. And your understanding is sharp. She's glowing, sweet, impressed by my praise, oblivious to the undercurrents. I've thought about the FBI, after school. Father hopes I'll become a prosecutor or join a firm, but I don't want that path. You should chase what drives you, I advised earnestly. FBI work isn't glamorous, but sharp minds are invaluable. Before she could respond, Rhoda emerged from the shadows, her tone light, here you are, hiding. Nothing naughty, I hope. She explained we were simply discussing my job. A small lie, but one that didn't matter. Rhoda's pride lit up as she praised me. You remember that embezzlement case? Hogan found the discrepancy hidden in boss's login usage, caught the perp myself wasn't enough. She beamed, but I recoiled inside. How could she praise me and still lie? A shadow crossed my face, she noticed. You okay? Just a thought, I muttered. She laughed, redirecting focus. Guess what? James and Sandra are transitioning me into an administrative role. That way when I go on maternity leave, no one's left hanging. I'll still travel occasionally, deliver campaign documents for James. It'll be fun. My heart sank again. She'd declared the affair over, but here she was, planning to travel with him. And the baby she hoped for? It might be his. I clenched my jaw, swallowing rage. 2 days later, the next chapter unfolded. Your 4 o'clock is here, my assistant said. Confused, I looked up, no appointment scheduled. Then Barbara entered, her red hair cascading, her demeanor poised, her sundress elegant. Speechless. I hope this is okay, she said gently, closing the door. Mary recommended you as a mentor, someone who knows about work with prosecutors. I gestured. Of course. Have a seat. What's on your mind? Her face grew serious. Bob, I'm so sorry. I know about the affair, between Rhoda and my father. Silence hit me like a blow. How, when did you find out? I asked hoarsely. February, maybe 3 months ago. I walked into a meeting at home, moments later I saw them together in the hot tub. Naked. I took pictures, and even video, they were careless. She slid the envelope across the desk, photos, files, a USB labeled with access credentials to his home security system. He'd installed it after his wife's death, a supposed safeguard for security, now evidence of scandal. Why bring this to me? I asked, heart pounding. Because he's a monster, she whispered. I hate that man more than anything. And you deserve better than the betrayal he's caused. I could leak it to a paper, but he's too powerful. I want to destroy him, with your help. A plan flickered in my mind. I don't want a sensational divorce, I said. I want him gone quietly, expose his corruption, his misuse of power. Hit his campaign, kill his influence. Her eyes lit up. I'm in. What do you need? Over the next days, we took action. Barbara planted keystroke loggers on his devices, backed up data, diverted security cams to an offshore cloud. I tracked Rhoda's phone carrier signals, stayed distant. I even visited a doctor, shown sexually transmitted infection panels, just in case. Rhoda left for Pittsburgh with James, calling it the final goodbye. She kissed me goodbye, love words I returned with hollow sincerity. Have a good week. I love you, she'd whispered. I love you too, I'd replied, knowing the words were empty now. Moments later, I walked out to catch my train to Philadelphia, heading to meet with Barbara and an unexpected next step, the FBI. Because I didn't need to manufacture evidence. It was waiting for us, in pixels, logs, and betrayal. And I was ready to make them pay, starting with James's campaign, but ending with his downfall. The rain fell like judgment that night, sharp, relentless, cold. Hogan stood motionless across the street, hidden beneath the hood of his jacket, soaked to the bone. The dull glow of the porch light flickered in the downpour, casting warped shadows through the rain-slicked windows of the home he'd worked so hard to build. His home. A place once filled with laughter, shared dreams, and promises whispered in the dark. Now, through that same window, he watched it all unravel. Inside, Rhoda stood too close to a man Hogan instantly recognized, James Connors the district attorney. Powerful. Polished. Married. And now, apparently, in Hogan's house, touching Hogan's wife. They didn't see him watching. He wasn't even sure they'd care if they had. He saw James brush a strand of hair from Rhoda's cheek, saw her laugh, a soft, intimate laugh she hadn't given Hogan in months. His chest tightened. Was this the first time? Or just the first time he saw it? It didn't matter. The betrayal hit like a slow knife to the gut, first shock, then pain, then rage. His hands trembled at his sides, fists clenched so tightly the skin over his knuckles turned white. Part of him wanted to storm inside and drag James Connors out by his expensive collar. Another part, a deeper, colder part, wanted to disappear. To let them believe they'd gotten away with it. So Hogan turned. Walked away. No confrontation. No closure. Just rain and silence and 1,000 broken pieces scattering behind him. The next morning, the world kicked him again, The local paper sat on the diner counter as he stirred his coffee, sleep-deprived and numb. The headline hit like a taunt. DA James Connors launches anti-corruption initiative, a moral revival for the city. He nearly laughed. Bitterly. The hypocrisy was too rich. The man sleeping with his wife was now the public face of virtue. The same man who'd toasted city officials behind closed doors while pocketing favors. Who whispered sweet lies into Hogan's wife's ear while preaching justice to the masses. And Rhoda? She didn't even flinch when Hogan confronted her. I deserve more, she said calmly, folding laundry like they were discussing the weather. James understands that. He sees me. You mean he sees what he can use, Hogan snapped, but his voice cracked with hurt. She didn't look up. You don't get it. You haven't for years. That was the last straw. He packed a single bag, grabbed his video camera, and left without saying goodbye. No shouting. No drama. Just silence, and a storm brewing in his gut. Weeks turned into months, Hogan became a ghost with a lens, filming roadside interviews, sleeping in his truck, drifting along forgotten highways. The world blurred. He stopped shaving. Stopped caring. But one thing remained, the image of James Connors, laughing in his home, holding Rhoda like Hogan never existed. He buried the pain under footage and edits. Under the hum of motel air conditioners and truck stop coffee. Until Oregon. It was in a coastal town, off-season and gray, where he met Barbara Connors. She was sitting alone at a bar, tearing napkins into tiny shreds. Same sharp cheekbones as her father. Same cold eyes, but different. Angry. Focused. She was watching the news on the TV above the bar. Her father's face. Smiling. Lying. You know him? She asked without turning, her voice bitter. Hogan blinked. Too well. Then you probably hate him too. They talked for hours. Barbara had been exiled from her father's life after calling out his lies. She knew things, hidden deals, off-the-books meetings, manipulation campaigns. She'd tried to warn people before. No one listened. But Hogan? Hogan had a camera, a voice, and nothing left to lose. So they teamed up. What started as therapy became a mission, Hogan recorded everything. Barbara led him to sources, documents, backroom whispers. They followed the money, campaign donations from shell companies, favors exchanged under the guise of public good. They edited footage in dingy motels. Released short, anonymous exposés online, quick hits of truth that spread like wildfire. James Connors' perfect image began to crack. The public started to question. Whispers turned into headlines. The press dug deeper. And finally, law enforcement opened a formal investigation. The night Connors was indicted, the city pulsed with electricity. Reporters swarmed the courthouse. Flashbulbs painted the night white. Hogan stood among the crowd, camera lowered. His heart should have been pounding. Instead, it felt eerily quiet inside him. Barbara joined him, her arms crossed, jaw tight. She watched her father being led in cuffs through the courthouse doors. "You got what you wanted," she said softly. Hogan shook his head. "No. I just stopped pretending."